Hey people, what's up? Just a little Friday evening video here. I just wanted to discuss a couple things. First of all, some of the developments going on. They came out today and said Obama came out and said, well, we're going to have to raise this debt ceiling now, and people need to we're going to have to come together and raise this debt ceiling and all this. This is really bad news. First of all, this wasn't supposed to even be getting considered for like a few months from now. Um, and the budget, they told us there was, 38 billion worth of cuts and all this, and they ended up cutting it's this 350 million, which is just a joke, compared to out of a 3.6 trillion dollar budget, they cut 350 million bucks. And so, these discussions are going to come up on this raising the debt ceiling and all this, and it's all going to be just more BS because you can see now they all just lied to us. They started at 100 billion, finally got down to this. Oh, we compromised. We came up with this 38 billion, and they ended up not really cutting anything. 350 million. That's a buck of a cut per person that lives in America. I mean, it's nothing. So now they have to raise the debt ceiling again. Um, and they're going to be discussing this QE3. Now, this is, that's been going on behind the scenes. Every day, one of the Fed members from wherever city comes out and says, "Well, yeah, I don't think we'll have to raise the QE3." And another guy will come out and say, "Well, looks like we might have to." And they're all trying to dance on the head of a pin. You know what I mean? They know that without this constant monetization of these markets and this constant interference, Bernanke's putting in $8 billion a day to the markets in order to support them. And the way you can see that is just look at like the S&P volume. Zero Hedge ran a little article this afternoon on it. The volume on the S&P has never been lower, yet it just stays. It's elevating. It's like holding a rock in your hand. You drop it and it goes up. It's like looking at the same thing. Well, there's a lot of bad stuff out there, and these earnings came out. Alcoa, Aluminum, Google, and all these companies came out, and a couple banks, Bank of America, I think it was Bank of America, came out with earnings, and they're all sucking. They're prices are rising. That consumer price index thing came out today, and while they don't count food and energy in CPI, right, consumer price index, which is total nonsense, but prices paid are going through the roof. One disturbing thing about that is it's like somebody from the oil industry came out the other day and said like gas is like a 380 average nationwide right now, and they're already seeing demand drop way off. And the simple fact of the matter is people can't pay these higher prices. People don't have money right now. So right now these companies are having to absorb the increased prices, but real soon they're going to have to at least try to pass them on. And it's like the oil industry says, with gas at like even at 380, the demand is dropping way down. So as the price goes up, less people are buying the same amount of gas. It's a mess. All you can say is a mess, and something has to give here. One thing I've been looking at lately is this Japan. People haven't considered this all the way through. So far Toyota's came out and said that they're going to close the North America and British plants, but there's a lot of other companies. For instance, just Apple, huge NASDAQ stock. They get all their parts from Japan. Most of it's assembled in China. So starting, when that earthquake happened, Apple's not getting their microprocessors and all this stuff. So how's that going to pass on? That's going to show up real soon in their earnings, and they're going to have to admit that their production is going to be way down. And that goes to so many other companies too. It's not just Toyota and Honda or whatever, Japanese companies. GM, you know, any GM vehicle, it's stuffed full of Japanese parts, wiring harnesses and alternators and all this stuff. It's all made in Japan. So we're about to see. Nobody's talking about it, but we're about to see this stuff show up, and it's going to be real ugly. Um, you know, there's so many other things going on. I mean, you guys can go over to, you know, Zero Hedge, read a bunch of the articles from today. You can get a flavor of what's going on. It's not good, you know. And I can look at like this Japan thing. They haven't factored in how this is going to affect. You know, Japan is a big disaster for us. Not only Japan, but for us. All these companies, anything that uses any parts out of Japan is cooked. And they're just not going to go somewhere else and say, "Oh yeah, we can start building those, you know, processors they use in all these computers, these iPhones, iPads, and all this stuff." And stuff's going to be cut off, and nobody's discussing it yet. So, you know, I think, you know, one thing that's interesting is you can see this stuff. The stock markets and stuff aren't showing it, but where it is showing up is in bonds, and in particular in precious metals and gold and silver. That's really showing up there. I mean, silver was up $3 today almost. It came from under 40 up to 43, and gold, I don't know. At one point today it was like up $16. So they're getting called on a lot of this stuff. They're getting called on it. While they're still able to manipulate stocks and all this, because there's nobody in there. You know, there's nobody in that rig casino in the stock market, so it's fairly easy for them just to keep the prices the same and everything. But if they even consider, as soon as they come out and announce this QE3, you know, the dollar's going to be under 70. It's already doing poorly. It's 74.5, something like that, 6.6 or whatever. It's bad. It's sitting at an all-time low right now. Everything adjusted. Um, you know, that's about it, really. I just wanted to give my thoughts, especially on Japan. Everybody's talking about the radiation, but what they're not talking about is these parts. You know, so much of this stuff comes from Japan. They're the third largest economy in the world, or the second, depending on, you know, who you're listening to. The third or second largest economy in the world, and they're in real bad shape. All this production is just halted over there. A lot of people are leaving. Anyway, kind of went on kind of long here, but I just wanted to discuss some stuff. And anyway, you guys take it easy. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.